Cock-a-doodle-doo, I'll touch you on your poo and make you wanna do two things or two. Scooby-Doo.
Do it.
He's backing off. Bonsai! Oh, that's not the move I wanted to do. Oh, fuck.
I made him fall off. What an idiot.
Nice!
N-I-E-S.
N-I-E-S.
I killed him by myself.
Ethan probably won't really give a shite.
Yeah, I know.
He'll probably be like, what a nerd! And he'll laugh because you got a funny looking face.
Everyone
That's bullshit. Can you imagine now? In my playthrough, I can't save Nicola. I gotta let him die.
Oh, that sucks.
That's gonna be depressing. Especially
I'm
to
sure
see
you'll get
Mia's
over it.
reaction.
I'm sure you'll get over it.
Help, I'm being shot at!
I love having a big flaming sword. I just stunned an urchin. It felt weird, but it felt good.
Baby! Baby, baby, ooh!
Forgot where the missile is. Poop.
Alright. I'm in danger!
Hey, I found it.
What, the vestiges?
Oh, I already found the one, and I picked it up.
Which
behind
one?
Mister. The one that we were talking about behind Big Scary Man.
Oh. Well, there's one in the place where you have to drop down, near the beginning.
Drop down, drop down, drop down, drop down.
Oh my god. It's right after the... You know how when you start, you run along a cliffside and there's one single guy sitting there, but where you had to open the door?
Yeah.
How did we get to that door, Jordan? We dropped down from a different area, fought two revenants. Remember?
Why are you speaking in code?
Oh my god.
I'm just trying to do my best. Why do you mock me? Don't you like me?
I'm fighting the Boreal Brute by myself. I don't feel confident.
I killed one by myself. You should be
Oh
able to
shit,
do it.
I don't have fire. I need to use a fire thing. Do I have one? I don't. That's not good.
Why the heck not?
I never needed it.
You still never inherited it?
No, I never had a reason to. Yeah, I'm not gonna do like any damage to him now, so I'm just gonna grab this chest and run by everybody.
You missed that the first time through.
What?
Regen activation factor.
Where?
Right through the door.
I got that. You didn't. I did.
Nope. I
No?
sure did not.
Cutscene, cutscene, give me my wee wee. I'm sorry.
Don't
Jordan,
entirely know how that makes sense, but alright.
your mom. She's in stinky condition. She needs
Always
to
is.
take a bath. Jordan, you got any cool stories to tell?
I'm beating the heck out of these guys by myself. Oh my gosh. I just got suicided and almost died in one hit. And I tell you what, that was not ideal.
You got any cool stories to tell? I'm gonna go get some chocolate. Go tell a cool story.
Alright. Oh, hey everyone. Jordan's probably going to be the only other person to ever hear this, but I just wanted to say... I almost just fell through ice. I just wanted to say... YouTube has taken up so little of my time that I really hope you appreciate the content, even though it's not good. I hope you like Jordan's channel. I don't really know what else is on it besides this and some Dead by Daylight stuff. But if you check out the rest of it, it's at your own risk. If you like this video, that's awesome. If not, that's totally on you. I think this is a great idea, and that we're doing a great job with this, so if you don't like it, that really sucks for you. I'm sorry we wasted your time with such talent. But anyway, back to the story. There was this raccoon named Phil. Phil did not live near the city, even though raccoons are usually known for living near the city and they go through people's trash. Phil didn't do that. He felt he was better than all the other raccoons. So what Phil did is, when he went up to a trash bin with the rest of his family, they were just scrounging around like they normally do. Phil said, "Hey, what are you doing that for?" And they said, "What do you mean?" Phil said, "We don't have to do that anymore. We can be civilized people." And they said, "But we're raccoons, not people." And he said, "Well, yeah, that's what you think." What Phil knew that they didn't know is that raccoons are people of their own, called the species. They didn't know that. They were just looking for their next meal. Phil says, "Look, we can change this. Raccoons don't need to go through people's garbage. We can make garbage like the rest of the people do." And they said, "Well, why would you want to do that? Why wouldn't we just clean it after them?" And he said, "Because there's so much disease and dirt and you stink and people don't like you. Because even though we're big and fluffy and cute, people don't like that we stink and that we carry disease." And they sat there and thought for a second, but it didn't sink in. So Phil walked away, a little bit disappointed and upset that the rest of his family doesn't understand hygiene and society. So poor Phil is walking through the town, which is, well, city, I guess. He calls it a town because where he's from, everything is called a town. He's from a rural place. But, like I said, he's visiting his family with this epiphany that they don't need to be this way. But anyway, he's walking through this city, and he sees a clothing store. And he says, "You know what? Why don't we make a clothing store for raccoons? Maybe people, human people, will see us as the people that we really are." So Phil starts taking speech classes. With his little paws, he finds a computer in a local library that he sneaks into at night, turns on the computer, figures out how to use it over the span of maybe 2 days. He figures it out. Phil is very smart. As you can tell by the rest of the story, Phil just has it going on. He figures out how to use the computer. He looks up how to sew, how fabrics work, how all the textile industry does what it does to make clothes. So he starts up his own little stand. He doesn't have the capital for a shop, and he says that we don't have to go through the garbage, but he does pick up some scrap wood because it's not necessarily garbage, it's just at the curb. So he makes a very good point later on, you'll see. But he starts his own little clothing stand with the shoddy clothes that he starts making, because he's not used to making clothes at all, let alone for a raccoon. And he saw people making them for people. He looked up some stuff for like dogs and cats and how they make those sweaters, and that helped a little bit, but there was nothing for a raccoon on there. So he gets what he's gonna sell. He gets his stand together. And he abandons that stand because he realizes my family's in the city. He goes back to a more rural place where he'd taken stuff from the city, gone back to his own little residence and made this stuff. Now he's going to have to find more stuff from the city, make a new stand because he wants to really present this idea to his family. And Phil does just that. He goes, he makes himself, a cute little stand where he can sell clothes. He shows his family as he's wearing some of the clothes, a hat and a nice blazer with a suit coat over it. He says, "Look, doesn't this look nice?" And they said, "I don't get it, we already have clothes, it's called fur." And Phil says, "No, this is different. This isn't just for survival, this is to look dapper. This is to blend in with the people folk." And the only person, if you want to call the raccoons people, the only raccoon in Phil's family that really had a glimmer of an idea of what was going on, according to Phil, in this whole clothing ordeal, was his little cousin, Jimmy. Jimmy was always a little bit weird, but it's because he was smaller than all the other raccoons. He was the run. And people didn't always associate too well with him, because people don't like the runs for some reason. Personally, I think they're adorable, but this story isn't about me. So Jimmy starts talking to his older cousin Phil after, and he says, "Could I have some of those clothes?" And Phil says, "Well, you're a little small, I'd have to make you some more." And Jimmy says, "Okay, I'm okay with that." And since he's so interested, Phil says, "Hey, do you want to see where I make the clothes?" And he says, "Yeah." Little Jimmy says, "Yeah." So Jimmy goes up to his parents, part of the raccoon family. It's extended family a little bit. It's cousins. It's his first cousins, aunts, uncles, mom, dad, grandma, grandfather. That sort of deal. Nothing like second cousins or anything crazy. But Jimmy says, "Hey, could I hang out with Phil for the night? Could we have a sleepover?" And they say, "Sure, why not? He's your cousin. Go have fun." Phil shows him how to make clothes, and his eyes are lit up with wonder. He's so excited in this dimly lit kind of den type deal that is hooked up to power with a sewing machine under somebody's barn using an extension cord. That is how Phil is doing this. He's got his own little table that he made with the farmer's tools and some scrap wood from an old barn that happens to be in the new barn that the farmer had built. That's not too important. But just to set the scene, that's where Phil and Jimmy are as they spend the night making clothes. So Jimmy goes into the city with Phil. They're a little overtired, but they're also ecstatic that they have new clothes to show. They're so excited. I'm smiling because they're so excited. It makes me happy. But they show the rest of the family, "Look at these." And that's when they start really catching on. They're like, "Wow, if little Jimmy can do this, and Jimmy understands it, maybe there's something odd about this that we didn't understand before that maybe we can understand." So they're understanding that they can understand. They don't necessarily have the understanding yet. But they all go about a week later, once their obligations are out of the way for that week. You know, finding garbage, other loot, and they stockpile it specifically this time, so they have enough resources to go out to where Phil lives. Jimmy, Phil, his aunts, uncles, all his other cousins, and his mom and his dad go, but his one brother doesn't. His brother is Stuart. Stuart doesn't care. Stuart just wants things to be the way they've always been. And Stuart is Phil's older brother. He's not older by a lot, but he's old enough to think that he's better than Phil, and his ideas are better than Phil's. So he stays home, all alone, with the stockpile of resources where he feels he should be. So, a little distraught that Stuart didn't make it to Phil's den, the family comes together and starts making a bigger den. And they scrounge some more supplies. They find I mean, they had all the other food supplies and basic scrap materials back at their home den, but now for the new den they brought their own materials. Just whatever they could bring in their mouths and their paws. And they all had basic shirts on, and these shirts had pockets down by the sides, kind of like a bathrobe type deal, because raccoons don't really... They didn't have pants yet. It's more of a focus on the shirt. They'll get to the pants later. And even so, raccoons don't have very big legs, so the pockets wouldn't be able to fit too much, but I'm sure they'll have pockets later in the story, we'll find out. But, yeah, so they carry whatever they can in their pockets, their paws, their cute little raccoon faces, and they scurry on over to where this new den's going to be built, a little further away from the barn house this time. They build it up, it's wonderful, this lovely underground dwelling where they can just make clothes. They really enjoy this, actually. They say, wow, why didn't we start doing this sooner? And they realize it's because they were so worried about survival they never looked ahead. They never saw the bigger picture and how they could improve themselves to be something greater. So now that they have this understanding, they start compartmentalizing their time. They understand whose strengths and weaknesses they can take advantage of for the greater good of the raccoon people, and they start giving people shifts based on their availability as far as schedules go, and their talents. So the best scroungers for food will scrounge for food at allotted times during the day and night, usually nighttime because raccoons are nocturnal. But yeah, keep in mind when I say Phil's going to visit them in the daytime, it's about dusk, just before dusk in the evening. So it's not like it's daytime, it's approaching nighttime. But anyway, back to the story here. Once they improve their efficiency, they really get going with this clothing thing. They're stockpiling resources of every kind that they could possibly need. They are making clothes, and now it's not just a family deal. They're going to start spreading their business idea to other raccoons in the area. And you'd say, what other raccoons? You'd think they were the only raccoons in the area. That's because raccoons have their own certain turf areas. Raccoon families don't get along too well unless they're really connected. They have some history behind them. If you don't have a whole lot of good history, then it's just not going to happen. And this family, although rather docile, doesn't have a whole lot of good history with anyone. It's just bad blood from the older days. So, unfortunately, it seems that their business scheme is not going to work. But they approach them anyway. They say, hey, we have a revolutionary idea, and we want to share it with you because we know this can make a difference for all raccoon kind. They abbreviate it as, well, not abbreviated, they contract it into coon kind, not raccoon kind. It's just shorter and easier. And the other raccoon family, just like the original, like Phil's raccoon family, is very skeptical. They say, what is the point? Why can't we just keep going on the way we're going on? And they say, don't you want to be something better? And so slowly this trend continues and continues into something that the raccoons are very proud of. They're very refined. They start smelling better. They understand hygiene, perfume, literacy, all these good things. They research it from the humans. They start learning and understanding, and there's this great revival. And I say revival because although it hadn't really happened before, they're reviving a sense of unity with each other, a sense of purpose that raccoons always had, but now it is heightened. So they're reviving their sense of purpose here, not necessarily their clothing and literacy. But yeah, this trend is going on today, actually. It reached its peak about a couple years ago, and it's just kind of stayed the same since. But Phil started something incredible. Raccoons could now have jobs. They could have real families that are part of the government systems if need be. they could own land, they could communicate with other humans. But there was just one thing now. Raccoons, unfortunately, well, it seemed fortunate before because they were seen as a pest. But now that they're so civilized, and by their own cultural revolution have less children now because they feel they need to provide for them in ways that the humans do. They don't just make a ton of babies and hope some survive. They really take care of them with medical care and all that, too. So it's not like they're just pushing out kids anymore. They make, I mean, it's up to the family, but on average, maybe 2, 3 kids per family, just like the typical American home for adults. And they start taking really good care of them. This, unfortunately, though, doesn't change their life expectancy too much. So now Phil is faced with another dilemma. Phil is a big idea guy, but he's not very scientific. And although his entrepreneurship really took off, it's changing coonkind everywhere. It is not the same as saving a species. Because he's unlocked a lot of potential, but there's so much more potential to be made use of. So Phil goes to his best friend, who's also very smart. His best friend's name is Sophia. She really understands more of the scientific elements of the world. And any scientific knowledge that she has, she shares with Phil. And she shares with everyone else. And she starts getting other coons to be educated under her and based on the teachings of the humans, so that they can ultimately change their life expectancy for the better. And this takes generations and generations, and good news for this part of the story is Phil's brother takes some time to turn around. It takes a couple other coon families to really impress Stuart, but he comes around, he starts wearing the clothes, and years go by. Phil is very old, so is Sophia, and even little Jimmy's pretty old. Stuart's still hanging around too, but their parents aren't. Their grandparents are long gone. They have kids of their own, grandkids even. And everything is still going so well. This is when the life expectancy increases drastically. They understand surgery, they understand medicine, they understand everything they need to know to keep themselves alive for up to 70 years, about the life expectancy of a human. So it's very impressive, and it's very well done. And honestly, I'm very proud of the raccoons. I can't believe how far they've come. They've done such a good job, and now they're intermingled with our society in a way that just always should have been. And we can all thank Phil. Phil was the entrepreneur that started it all. And I like to think Phil's name stands for his philosophical outlook on life. And that is the story of Phil the Raccoon and why they're a part of human society today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. Jordan, are you back now? I thought I heard a mic move.
Hey, sorry, I'm back. Yeah, the chocolate thing kind of took a while, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
I couldn't find it, so I went to the store and bought some.
Oh, that explains why it took so long.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I think you're going to enjoy this story when you get around to watching the video.
Yeah, because all we had were Hershey's, and Hershey's are fucking awful by themselves, so...
Interesting, I wouldn't know.
Anywho. What? I'm slowed? I guess the sea urchins can slow you.
Interesting.
I'm missing a vestige. I have 3 of them. The fuck? Oh. I'm walking. Did you get all the vestiges? Or were you
after
too busy
that one
talking?
I got.
Too busy telling the story?
Yeah, I wasn't even playing the game, I was just telling the story at that point.
Oh, okay, that's cool. As long as there's something entertaining.
Oh yeah. I didn't leave the audience, aka us, hanging.
I'll be sure to check it out when I upload it.
Cool. No rush, it's not that great.
I'm sure it's good, Jordan. Don't undermine yourself and your talents.
Alright. In that case, I just hope you enjoy it.
You're such a sweetheart.
Me?
Yeah.
I try. But who is?
Well, Julia's not coming over anymore, so...
Heck. Why the heck not? What happens when you transform a blood veil?
You can add, like, resistances to it and stuff.
Oh, okay. I figured it was in the form of resistances.
What the hell? What the fuck?
You can add slow resistance. That's nice.
Goodbye, little one! What vestige could I be missing?
Oh, does it add that form of damage to you as well?
Only if you do it to your weapon.
Because it says plus 50 lightning if I wanted to put lightning on, so if I put lightning on my weapon, then it's...
is it plus 50 lightning resistance?
Well, yeah,
sure?
it's resistance and under the attack type, too.
For transforming veils?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that. Okay, that's cool.
Ooh, that machete is good. I think I might use that.
I gotta figure out where this last vestige I'm missing is.
I still really enjoy the music at the home base.
Julia might hop on and we can, if you're still interested in playing a game, we could play like Dead by Daylight or something.
Alright. Yeah, Liz will be home, I don't know, she'll be home in a half hour, an hour and a half.